what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be my arena team that I use to auto farm gold 4 and get my great haul maxed out. I will walk you through the entire team and my thought process as an endgame player who is trying to farm gold medals for the great haul efficiently. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first things first, as I pull up the great haul here, you will see that I am pretty close to getting everything that I want to get maxed out. The last column that I need to max out is resistance, and I'm pretty close at 9, 7, 8, and 7. And then the attack will be the last thing I max out, but that's really not that big of a deal, so I'm not super worried about that. The things I care about should be maxed out within the next month or two, so I thought it'd be a good time to get a video like this out there and talk about the process and the team that I use and why I use that team. So let's pop up the infographic of the team. And one thing I want to say really quickly is there should be a way in game to like export your team like this. Like click export team to file, and then it sends you an email with a link to an image like this where you can export your team and get it nice and laid out on paper. That would be a great feature for a game like this where you're using a bunch of different rosters. You can export your golem team, export your dragon team, and get everything nice and laid out. Because this takes me a long time to make this infographic, it would be really nice. It'd be a great feature for the players and the community if there was a feature to export your team and get it nice and laid out on paper. So that was just a random thought I had while I was doing this. But yeah, so you'll see here I've got 5 champions on here. It's because those are the 5 champions I use the most to farm the gold 4 arena. Tormund, Hawkhorn, Saris, and Ignatius are my staple team. That's my auto-friendly, I'm lazy, I hit start battle, auto, and go. I very rarely manual the arena. I wanted to set up my team to be auto-friendly because it's quality of life. I don't want to sit here and manual the arena 45 minutes a day. I want it to be as easy and simple as possible to make the daily arena grind just that much more bearable. But if I find myself in a situation where maybe there's a bunch of Force Affinity champions or something, or I feel like the Ignatius is going to be in a weaker spot than normal, I will flex in the Sir Nick for the Ignatius, and then I'll go with the team of Tormund, Hawkhorn, Saris, and Sir Nick instead of the Ignatius. But Tormund and Ignatius are a dream team. They pair so well together. It gets Tormund really popping off because you get the HP burns and the freezes synergizing with Tormund's kit. And then Tormund is there to help you go second. So the reason I designed this team like this is I didn't want to get in a situation where I'm trapped in the speed meta. So a long time ago, probably 4 or 5 months ago, I started kind of thinking ahead, and I was like, okay, if they're going to start selling these speed packs and stuff, I don't want to get in a loop where I feel like I'm being pressured to constantly get my speeds higher and higher and higher. So I started to think, what can I do with my roster to prevent that? So I'll surrender the fact the other team's going to go first. I'll do that. I will just go second every single match, and then I will set my team up to perform well in that scenario. So that's what I did. I used Tormund. He makes going second a lot easier because you're going to get a lot of CC down on the other team. And also he has a really good aura of 33% ally defense in all battles. Then if you're going to be going second, you need to be able to cleanse and remove what your opponents have just done to you because they have gone first. Tormund's not going to freeze them all, so they're going to get something off. They're going to get defense breaks and stuns and provokes, and they're going to do stuff to you. Hawkhorn is designed to go ahead and cleanse that. You can see I've got him in a pretty decent resistance of 368. That's when you go up against those people like Ray, that they attack you and they strip all of your buffs. He is in an immunity set, as you can see with the gear down there, but that immunity buff can get stripped. So I didn't build him with insane resistance or anything. You don't need, you know, I'm in gold 4, I'm not in platinum. That's the great thing, is you don't need 780 resistance. Like, you don't need these ridiculous numbers. You can farm gold 4 with more realistic things, and it's really efficient for your great haul. So that's why he's in the immunity set, but then I also wanted to get him some resistance so he's not as likely to get that immunity buff stripped, and then he can go ahead and cleanse what the opponents have just done to my team. And then Saris, we all know the story with Saris. She's by far the best arena epic in the game. It's not even close. She's basically a void legendary, amazing in PvP. So you can see there that her roles down there in the middle are strip, control, and debuff. She is going to be designed, if I'm going second, odds are the other team is going to have a bunch of buffs and things that they have done to improve the strength of their team. Defense up, attack up, speed up, things like that, and Saris can go ahead and wipe those all away. She can also remove the shields because they count as buff as well. Shields are very common in the arena. You get champions like like Mountain King, Miscreated Monster, and a shield set. A lot of times you get big HP shields in the team. Saris can wipe those away. Amazing champion for an epic. And then Ignatius, like I said, he's there. I need to bring at least one damage dealer because I need to be able to burst things down. So those 3 champions, Tormund, Hawkhorn, and Saris, I don't really gear them for damage. They're more geared for utility and filling a certain role. Ignatius is going to be who I'm relying on to crank out damage and actually get some kills. He hits really hard for a defense scaling champion on an AoE, and he can also do an A1 that hits pretty hard and crank out some damage. So I'm relying on him to get kills. And Ignatius is kind of cool because you don't really need to build accuracy on him if you don't want to. I like him to land his provokes, so I did give him a reasonable amount of accuracy of 292, but you can build a high res version of Ignatius because his HP burns cannot be resisted, so he'll still pair well with Tormund, even if you build him high resistance, low accuracy. So he's a fun champion that's got some different roles he can be used. And then Sir Nick, like I said, he also fills in the same role as Ignatius, as kind of my damage controller that I'll flex in when I'm up against a bunch of Force Affinity champions or in a situation where Ignatius isn't going to do super well. And not pictured in the infographic, but somebody that I will flex in a fair amount of time, and it's probably my first player off the bench type of champion. My 6th man is Mountain King, so I've got him in a big shield set with like 139k HP. You can see here 139, 375. So with him in a shield set and that much HP, he can really lay down a massive shield on my team. If I'm going to be going up against a lot of Magic Affinity champions or a situation where I feel like I'm really going to need that extra HP on my team and they don't really have a team set up to remove it, I can slot in Mountain King and he just gives my team that much more survivability. So I will use him sometimes as well because he is built and ready to rock and ready to get slotted in whenever I need to point him out. But now let's go ahead and I'll walk you through the thought process of me farming in Gold 4 and getting after these medals to get this great haul maxed out. So first of all, obviously I've got the token Bad Alcazar. It's my channel art, so I've always got the 1-person defense of Bad Alcazar. So if you are active in the arena, a lot of times it's a good idea to put a 1 champion defense because you want other people to attack you and keep your rating at a manageable level. Like if I'm going to be getting the same amount of medals no matter what, if I'm in Gold 4, I might as well be at 2946 instead of 3446 because then I'm just going, my likelihood of getting more realistic to beat opponents is just that much higher. So now when I do go to bed, sometimes I will put a full defense just to deter people from slamming me down too hard overnight. But most of the time, especially during the waking hours, when I'm active on raid, when I'm streaming, when I'm actually playing the game, I've got a 1 champion defense. But you do want to make sure you're monitoring your trophy level. You don't want to end up in a situation where you get knocked down a couple tiers and now all of a sudden your clan boss keys are doing less damage because your stat bonuses are less because you drop down in the arena. So it is something you want to monitor, but all in all, keeping a 1 champion defense can be a powerful tool to help you manage your trophy count and farm medals efficiently. So now for the thought process of what's going on in my head when I'm going to be farming my medals. There's not a whole lot that I'm super scared of. The main thing that will make me avoid a team because I don't want to waste my medals out. Like if I feel like I'm 60 or 70% to win a match, even though I'm, technically favored to win it, I still don't want to do that because over the course of a long time, I'm going to be a lot less efficient in maxing my great haul. So I'm going to be going after matches that I feel like I'm like 98, 99% to win. So if I click on something like this and I see that they're 140k power and I'm 220, this is a match that I know I'm not going to lose. They also don't have any Force Affinity champions, which my team's going to be weak against because they use 2 Magic Affinity champions. So they don't have a lot of force. They've got a low power. I know what all these champions do. The Suzerain can remove shields, so this is a situation where I wouldn't want to use Mountain King because of the Suzerain removing, and also he's Spirit versus a Force. But this is a type of battle where I can just walk in and hit auto, and I know I'm going to be fine. So you'll see here that I actually went first because they're not using like an Arbiter speed type team. So this is like the one time in 100 that I will actually go first because my speeds aren't that bad. Like if they don't use turn meter boosters and speed auras and all those bells and whistles for speed teams, my speeds are like 230 something. So there are times where I will go first. So we can go ahead and just auto this, place the block. Now Saris on auto a lot of times will do her A2, the trick and treats here. Probably 90 something % of the time you wish that she would do the midnight ritual. blow through all those shields, remove the debuffs, and then debuff their defense and their attack. So this is a situation where I would manual that, but I would still win even if I autoed. But I would want to wipe away those shields and let my Ignatius hit super hard. So now I can definitely auto, and it's going to be a super easy fight that I know I'll take down. But I'll walk you through a couple battles here and what the thought process is. There is sometimes where I would want my Ceres to do her A2. Like if I froze somebody like a Duchess or a Roshkar the Tower, somebody that has a big impact cooldown that got frozen and didn't get their ability off, and I might not be able to kill them because they're built with pretty good toughness. That's a situation where I want to save my Ceres's A3, the Midnight Ritual, that is going to be a more reliable buff strip. So there are times where I will wait on that, and also teams that I will avoid are double revive teams. They can get a little bit rough for my team because I don't have somebody like a Rotos anymore that I feel like can perform at the level of consistency to be blocking revives. I am in the process of building a Blood Gorge because I think he's going to be kind of like the Rotos 2.0. He's got the Decapitate ability that blocks revive and hits really hard, ignores defense. So I am in the process of adding him to my flex kit of champions that I can swap in. So then you can see here, 112. We know we're good there. There's absolutely no way I can do whatever I want here, and it's going to be easy. Now, one thing I will do, you can see here there's so many buffs. Now, sometimes Ceres's AI will use the A3 if there's this many. Let's see here. Yep, see, she did the Midnight Ritual. It's very rare that she does that, but if there's a ton of buffs, her AI will prioritize that properly. And then sometimes I will click on the Reviver, like if it's a Duchess or an Arbiter or something, go ahead and burst them down first. But it's not that common that I really have to do that. So let's go to a team that I feel like 154. This will be a little bit tougher, and Ray has the potential to strip the immunity buff from my Hawkhorn. So we'll see how this team performs. This is going to be a little bit of a tougher match. Okay, I still went first here because they're not using boosters and stuff. This is a situation where they're not going to place super impactful buffs, so I would go ahead and just use the strip there. But it's another one where I could probably auto and it would be totally fine. And that's kind of funny that I have already found 2 matches where I went before my opponent, because that is rare. Usually you're going up against lots of boosters and speed meta type teams that I just use the Torment to go ahead and freeze once they go first. So see, here's an example of a speed team. You get the Gorgorab with the speed aura and the boosting, and then they've actually got a force affinity damage dealer here. So this might be a spot where I swap in Sir Nick just to deal with the Blood Gorge, because I want somebody with higher HP because he's going to ignore defense. So I would auto, and you can see there we got good freezes, and then I would click on the Gorgorab. Using the A2 there is fine. Not a problem at all. Now, Sir Nick using that ability right there can be a little bit rough in certain situations, so you do want to be careful with Sir Nick, and sometimes it would definitely be more optimal for me to manual him, but he's still a great champion that's going to do amazing things, and like I wish he would have done the A3 AoE attack there sooner instead of doing the heals and the unkillable, but it is what it is. Sir Nick is another one that unfortunately doesn't have amazing AI a lot of times. And I will show you a tougher match here. This is going to be a tougher type team. It's going to be a more even type fight. Hegemons typically aren't a problem for my team because I'm set up with an immunity cleanser so I can wipe away what the Hegemon does. But a team like this has potential, if I don't get great freezes for my Torment, that there is a way I could lose this fight. But let's walk you through the thought process here of what is happening. So there we go. There's the Hegemon that gets everything off. And look at these Ceres, removed everything and feared my Hawkhorn. The Ceres has good enough accuracy and got pretty lucky there. So I was good there. The fear didn't proc. So now my Ceres has good enough accuracy. I feel good about my chances here. I can remove everything there except for the Torment, and I should be okay. Now I can auto, click on the Arbiter, and we should be just fine. So that didn't go perfect. It could have went a little bit better. I didn't get super great Torment freezes, and the Ceres was able to remove my immunity buff and get my Hawkhorn feared. So that could have been rough there. But you can see there that we still clutched it out. We were probably like 70 or 80% to win that one. And then obviously, you know the drill. It's about beating down this Torment that can take forever to kill because of the revive with the freeze debuff and all that. There we go. And we just keep right on going here. This is obviously one that's going to be super easy. Vizier, Lugan. We're not really going to be fearing this. Lugan does have the block cooldown ability, so it's not going to be... Now, see, they don't have any buffs coming down the road. They're going to be super scary, so I would just wipe this away and go ahead and pummel them down here. So, yeah, I would say 97-98% of the time, there really isn't a whole lot of thought that needs to go into it. Yeah, I've got a pretty endgame team here that's pretty viable versus most of anything that Gold 4 is going to throw at me. But there are times where you go up against those 200k plus teams that are pretty well set up, and it's time to get after it and maybe manual a couple things every now and then. It happens. There you can see Sarah's doing the A2, but it's not that bad. She does get the fears off, and then the next time around she will do the A3 right there and place the decrease attack and the defense. So yeah, there we go. But that's kind of, I don't want to, you know, go for too long and show you guys every single scenario. I'd be here for an hour, but I'm long overdue on making this type of video to really walk you through the thought process on exactly what my team is, how it is built, and why it is that way. So I wanted to get this out there so you guys have something just to kind of see what it's like for an endgame team, an endgame player, and get everything laid out on my experience of kind of working towards maxing the Great Hall and why I do it that way. So I will put this infographic down below in a pinned comment so you can click on it if you want to see everything. And before I let you go, I will pop open the masteries. I know it's a big thing you guys ask a lot. Torment, you can see all the gear sets and stuff in the infographic, but let me just go to the masteries really quick in case you want to pause and be able to see them. I will just scroll through these really quick here. We've got Torment, and then this was Sir Nick's masteries right here. Helm Smasher would be totally fine. And then Hawkhorn Smash Lord, I will show you his right here. Bang, there's the ones I used for Hawkhorn. And then Saris, there is something I did want to talk about really quickly about Saris. Let's see, make sure I get the right one here. And yes, that is the right one. Okay, masteries. But for Tag Team Arena, it can be handy to have a couple different ones. Now with Saris, if you've got an immunity cleanser that needs to go before her, or you got an immunity cleanser that needs to go first in your rotation, you got to be careful with this cycle of revenge on an absorb team that goes second, like my team is designed to do a lot of the time, because you can get in a situation where you get these turn meter increase procs, especially versus hegemon teams where he does an AoE and he crits a lot. If you have Cycle of Revenge on the wrong champion, you can really mess up your rotation and have somebody take their turn before your immunity cleanser. So you definitely want to watch out for Cycle of Revenge and make sure that you're not taking this on a champion that you're at risk of making them boost their turn meter and then jump in front of your immunity cleanser. I know that happened to me a long time, and I finally had to just spend the gems and fix the masteries here on the Saris because it was happening a little bit too often. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one, guys. And remember, I will have the infographic of this team down in a pinned comment, and if you have any questions, definitely let me know. I'm always happy to help you guys out in the comment section. I try to go through and do my best to get to what I can. Otherwise, stop by when I'm streaming, and I'm always happy to get to as many questions as I can for you guys. So that's gonna do it. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.